Welcome to Laurel Book Store. Tonight we are welcoming Risa Nye with her book, There Was a Fire Here. Risa Nye lives and works and writes in Oakland, California. Her essays and articles have appeared in a number of local, national, and online publications and anthologies, including Fine Home Building, San Francisco Chronicle, Skirt Magazine, You and Me Magazine, Hippocampus Magazine, Chicken Soup, and Not Your Mother's Books, and Oh Sandy. She is co-editor of Writin' on Empty, Parents Reveal the Upside, Downside, and Everything in Between When Children Leave the Nest. She earned an MFA in creative nonfiction from St. Mary's College. She writes a semi-monthly column about cocktails under the name Miss Barstool for theberkeleyside.com. Please go check it out. There Was a Fire Here is her memoir of losing her house in the Oakland fire. Hers was one of more than 3,200 homes and apartments that were lost 25 years ago this October. It's intensely personal, but it's also an incredible accounting of what happens when you lose all of your tangible, familiar objects. What happens to your sense of well-being when so much is simply gone in a flash? How do you keep putting one foot in front of the other? If you were here in 1991, even if you didn't lose your home, this book cannot help but affect you very deeply. I know it did for me. Please welcome Risa Nye.
Thank you for that lovely introduction. I think I'd like to start off reading the introduction, give you a flavor of what this book is all about. This is called Nothing. To have nothing. And I mean nothing except the clothes you ran out of the house wearing when you left before the place burned, before you knew whether you'd be able to go back. Let's say you didn't take much. Let's say what you were left with is nothing. What are the things you'd miss the most? Have you ever asked yourself? If my house were on fire, what would I grab? People ask themselves this question, and they may even come up with a pretty good answer. But the real test is when the fire is raging and your kids are scared and you don't really know if it's a drill or not. So you play it safe and take some important things but leave others behind, things that you will torture yourself about later on. But your heart is pounding and you can't think straight because smoke and ashes are in the air, and you have kids and you have to get them and yourself the hell out of there before it's too late. I remember exactly what I took with me. It wasn't much. A leather jacket, a jewelry box, photograph albums, and baby books. But here's something I hadn't counted on, a consequence of nothing, the freedom, the lightness. To have nothing means no baggage, no decisions, no choices. Could anyone else understand this hard-to-explain lightness? And did I ever say this out loud to anyone? No. Not in 25 years. Only now as I look back and remember that secret sense of lightness, am I ready to address it. 25 years after the fire, my home is full again. I find myself missing the sense of lightness, that freedom from possession, and this is a feeling I did not have before the fire. I long for that sense of lightness, but do not long for the sense of loss, and I wonder, is it possible to have one without the other? So that's how it begins. This book is the culmination of my 2-year MFA program at St. Mary's College, which I entered at the grand old age of 58. But it was, the fire itself was sort of creeping into everything I'd written since then. And I'd written articles for, as I mentioned, the Chronicle, Fine Home Building, other publications, and there was always something in there that, oh yes, of course, but I don't have that anymore, or that was after the fire. And the one thing that this event really did was divide our lives between before and then after. And since it was the year that I was just about to turn 40, it, traditionally used to be life begins at 40. Well, in a way, life ended and a new life began at 40. I wanted to write this book because I'd been sort of gathering stories here and there over the past 20 years, and I wanted to put them together in some kind of a format. And so the notion of creating a memoir began, and I was able to realize that dream and publish this book this year. So it's been quite a journey. You know, people say, I always want to know, how long did it take you to write that book? And sometimes they'll say it took me 5 years, and sometimes they'll say, well, actually it took me 25 years to write this book. And so I hope that people who have experienced some type of loss or know somebody who has, we've all seen those people in front of the camera saying, this happens to other people, I never thought it would happen to me. We are those other people. And especially living in California, there are people every year, we've seen it a lot this year, who are standing in front of the smoking ruins of what used to be their homes, shaking their heads saying, I don't know what I'm going to do. So I hope that people that know someone or have experienced themselves will see this more as a story of survival, but also hope, and that it will appeal to the part of them that really doesn't know what they're going to do next. And it's a story that I hope will help people move on to the next phase.